because there's a little bit of history from both of our areas, from both Boyne valleys, that I'd like to address, and that you're right in the middle of now, seeing as you've come so far. I've seen one of your little guys, which is the guy that was on ABC television, who said that it's his first time outside the state. Just check it on here, is it? Good man, you look good on TV, all over the state. Govinda. Let's fast forward to 1849, right in the middle of our potato famine, when William Wilde, father of the famous poet Oscar Wilde, said that the history of Ireland can be traced through the monuments that are throughout the Boyne Valley. These monuments, such as Newgrange, which is older than the pyramids itself, over 5,000 years old, and the other passage tombs at Nowt, Doubtford, Lough Crew, the Hill of Tara, which is the ancient capital of Ireland, only 6 miles away from where we stand now, and also where St. Patrick brought Christianity to our country. The Battle of the Boyne site at Oldbridge, where we came second that day. The Celtic crosses such as at Kells and Monaster Boys, the famous Book of Kells, and last but not least, our very own Trim Castle that you see out through the window, are evidence that Mr. Wilde knew exactly what he was talking about. During this potato famine, and this is a little bit of history that you guys, I hope, will appreciate, just what it took to get to where you guys come from. During this potato famine, Ireland's population was decimated from 8 million people down to 5 million, which it remains at to this day, through death and emigration. Do you think that's bad, guys? Pretty bad. That's bad. 1 million died, 1.5 million emigrated to America, more were arrested for stealing food to feed their families and sent as convicts to Australia and Van Diemen's Land, which is now known as Tasmania. Because the folk that emigrated were already weak from hunger and disease, many died on the coffin ships that transported them across the Atlantic to America and to Canada. 30 to 40,000. Do you think that's bad, guys? That's pretty bad. When the survivors arrived on Ellis Island, New York, they were quarantined and many were rejected and refused entry and sent home again. That's actually happening again now, guys. Simply because they were sick from either the famine or the crossing. Those that finally made it through were subjected to prejudice simply because they were Catholics arriving in a country where the ruling class was predominantly Protestant or other relations. They swelled Boston's population by 30% almost overnight, and many businesses posted signs saying, "No Irish, no blacks and no dogs." Do you think that's bad? Those that got jobs only got them because the jobs were too dangerous for anyone else to do, hence the massive number of Irish that worked in coal mines, railroads, canals, including alligator and snake-infested swamps down around Mississippi, New Orleans, so on and so forth. I met a guy only last week that from New Orleans was telling me the history of that. New Orleans being the second port of entry to the United States. But they persevered, and against all the odds, they built lives for themselves and were able to help the second and subsequent waves of Irish establish themselves in the USA. No less than 22 men of Irish descent went on to reach the highest office possible of American president in the United States. That's exactly half the American presidents you've had to date. Small country with a big voice. We know the Irish mentality prevailed in and around Boyne City, where you guys all come from, when during Prohibition, a lumber barge, Kiuka, was converted into a floating speakeasy bar until it was raided by the US Treasury Department and was scuttled in the lake. So we know Irish tradition travelled well as well. We know that John Miller, the founding father of Boyne City, was 100% Irish, because who else, other than an Irish husband, would do what he'd done because his wife had a dream? Just picture this. John awoken from his sleep with his wife Harriet, a New York spiritualist, shouting that she had a dream, a Martin Luther King moment. And in this dream, she saw them living in a cabin beside a bear-shaped lake. So she said, "Let's sell up our farm." It was in St. Lawrence in New York State. "Sell up our farm and all our belongings, and let's head west and find this place where there's a lake beside, a little cabin beside a lake." But that's exactly what they did. They found it. How do you pronounce that lake that you call there? Charlevoix. Charlevoix. They found it there. Arriving in 1856 on the shores of Lake Charlevoix, where a river entered the lake, John Miller decided to name the river after his beloved River Boyne. He came from just up the River Boyne from Trim here in Ireland, so a new chapter began. This settlement got its own post office in 1869, became a village in 1885, was routed as a city in 1904 and was incorporated as a city in 1907. John and Harriet's sons, Hugh and James, possibly named after John's father, Hugh, but we prefer to think named after Hugh de Lacy, who owns that castle over there, or owned that castle over there until he lost his head. on King James, who came second, as I said, at the Battle of the Boyne. Fast forward to 2018, and after all that trouble to get to where Boyne City, Michigan is today, a group of teenagers decided to jump on the plane and come all the way back to where the story began, just like the salmon crossing the ocean to get back to the river of its birth. Do you think that's bad? It matters not whether you guys are of Irish descent or not. You have brought about the start of a very strong campaign to twin your Boyne City and Valley with our Boyne Valley here in Ireland. The Boyne Valley Ireland, on behalf of the Boyne Valley Ireland, we welcome you home from the Boyne Valley, USA. Yay. The food is better now. We just want to make this the start of a long relationship between our two Boyne Valleys, and we need your help and support to do that. Are you guys up for that? Yeah. Alright, very welcome. And with no further ado, I'm going to hand you over to the Cathaoirleach of Meath County Council, Tom Kelly, to say a few words, if you will. Go ahead, John. Thank you.
Minister, fellow councillors, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure as a native of the town of Trim to have my first gig in Trim at this inaugural meeting here today. And on behalf of Meath County Council, I am pleased to welcome the little Traverse Choir, Boyne City, and the representatives of PJ Co, Caroline O'Brien, on behalf of the parent company in Boyne City, Michigan, to the Boyne Valley on my first engagement as the Cathaoirleach of Meath County Council. I would like to. It's funny in my mouth, he is. I would like to acknowledge my colleague, Councillor David Gilroy, who is the chair of the Boyne Valley Tourism, and I will provide you with lots of information on tourism in the Boyne Valley. Today's event is a great opportunity for us to learn about Boyne City, but also for us to impart our pride in our own Boyne Valley and provide you with some background. The Boyne Valley is at once Ireland's ancient capital and the most sacred and mythical landscape. It is rich in heritage, myth and legend. Within the Boyne Valley lies the World Heritage Site of Brunabonia, the royal seat of the High Kings at Tara, and the 5,000-year-old tombs at Loughcrew. One of the most significant events in the history took place in the Battle of the Boyne. Our Christian heritage is second to none, with some of the finest high crosses in Ireland in Kells. While the remnants of Hugh de Lacy's reign has been seen here at Trim Castle, I used to know it as King John's Castle when I was a young lad running around the streets of Trim. But when the state took it over to change the name to Trim Castle, which is more appropriate and which indeed is greater benefit to Trim. Just at the road from here lies Beckliffe Abbey, a wonderful example of medieval monastery. My own area of the coast where we have beautiful beaches and untouched coastline. That's East Meath. We have 21 kilometres of coastal area in this country, and believe you me, it's a fine spot. But my heart still lies in Trim. The first festival, now known as Halloween, took place at the Hill of Ward at Boyne. There was also many more sites, the Hill of Slane, the New Slane Castle Distillery, which is part of the Brown Foreman from Kentucky. The River Boyne has been the source of our wealth of heritage, our wealth of agricultural land and food, and our wealth of myth and legend. This wealth has created a tourism offering that can rival anywhere in the world. Tourism is worth 120 million to the Boyne Valley economy, and we take our work very serious. Trim is a vibrant town and a very important tourism town in the Boyne Valley. The castle where is the largest Anglo-Norman castle in Ireland, while in the town you have to get involved in a live archaeological dig at Black Friday. You can also experience the view of the castle from the kayak and enjoy fantastic heritage trails. Beside the castle is the Trim Visitor Centre, offering tourist information, and visitors to the centre can participate in Trim living history. We are proud to say that we have 3 large hotels in Trim, many bed and breakfast and self-catering businesses, as well as many growing festivals, including Scorlock's Town, which is 50 years this Sunday, Sound of Knowledge, Race Around Ireland, the Royal Meath Agricultural Show, and the new Brew, Trim, Trad and Celtic Rock Festival. Today's marks the start of a new friendship with the Boyne City and an opportunity to discover and share our similarities as regions and grow in a friendship between both communities. On behalf of Meath County Council, I would like to thank Jack. Thank you, Jack. Who put enormous work into organising the trip to Ireland and to this event. And to Gerard Meath from Navan, Michael Hughes from maybe Trim, and David Gorey and Trim Tourism Network for their hard work in pulling together on the Meath side. Finally, I wish you and every best luck in your performance at the Christ Church Choral Festival. Very good. Well done. Thank you all very much for coming.
Yeah, we get Kira up here. Yeah. So we're going to introduce Kira Kohler, am I right?
Yes.
Kira, come ahead and say a few words. Good.
My name is Kira Kohler, and I'm a part of the Little Travers Youth Choir. The choir is pleased and proud to be here for this important occasion. The choir's members and guest dancer, Lexi Strand, represent 9 towns from 4 counties in northern Michigan, including my hometown of Boyne City, where Irish immigrants settled a long time ago. In fact, northern Michigan is now home to thousands of people of Irish descent. Michigan counties named after Irish counties include Wexford, Antrim, Roscommon, and Clare. Our choir rehearses in Emmett County, named after Irish patriot Robert Emmet. Not far from the Little Travers Bay, after which our choir is named, is Beaver Island. This island is about as Irish as a place can get without being in Ireland. The Boyne River, near Boyne City, Michigan, was named by Harriet Miller because it reminded her of a river near her home in County Meath, Ireland. Thus, the Boyne River got its name, as did the then unplatted land which is now our beautiful town of Boyne City. Because of the special relationship between the Boyne River Valley and Boyne City, Michigan, Mr. Tom Needhammer, Mayor of Boyne City, has asked me to read the following statement on behalf of Boyne City, its City Commission, and its citizens. On behalf of the City of Boyne City, State of Michigan, United States of America, and its citizens, greetings to the people of the Boyne Valley and the Republic of Ireland. Whereas Boyne City's modern history began in 1856, when John and Harriet Miller landed on our shores and became our first permanent settlers. Whereas they named the river they discovered here the Boyne, after the one they left behind in your Boyne Valley. Furthermore, over 161 years later, and through the efforts of Voices Without Borders and the International Language of the Arts, we look to strengthen the connections between our Boyne Valleys and with our roots. Whereas our modern history is much shorter than yours, our namesakes, we are eager to share it with you as we continue to learn more about each other and build upon our common bonds. Now, furthermore, let today these young people and these words open new avenues of communication and new opportunities for interactions between our peoples. Whereas it is the City of Boyne City's heartfelt desire that a twinning or sister city type relationship be established by and between our lands. Furthermore, that this first step in opening such a relationship be like that of the Millers when they first landed on our shore and thought of their homeland so far away. Furthermore, let us build a bridge to link our Boyne Valleys and begin to build a new history together. Now, therefore, with all good wishes to the peoples of the Boyne Valley, Ireland, we set our hands and seal this day, 11th of June, 2018 AD.